Welcome to the MamasteFit podcast. In this episode, Roxanne and I are going to be sharing with you our tips for traveling with young children, flying, road trips, all sorts of trips, because the holidays are coming up. And speaking of the holidays coming up, with Thanksgiving, we also have Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And so if you are wanting to get a little bit more of a discount on our prenatal fitness programs, childbirth education, postpartum fitness programs, and our professional courses, Black Friday is a great time to grab our bundles and to save a ton. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you're going to have a bigger discount. And so if you want to sign up for our newsletter, head to the show notes below, sign up for it. If you're watching this on YouTube, head to the description. It's free to sign up and you can save a ton of money. It's pretty much like free at that point, girl math. So let's get into it. Welcome to the MamasteFit podcast. This is Gina, perinatal fitness trainer and birth doula.
And I'm Roxanne, labor and delivery nurse and student midwife.
And this is the MamasteFit podcast, where we empower you on your prenatal fitness, birth, and postpartum return to fitness journey.
Our podcast shares how to move throughout your pregnancy to stay strong and comfortable, because pain is not a requirement of pregnancy. Understand the science of birth and how to approach recovery after birth.
We share our personal experience as mothers navigating this stage in our lives, plus our professional expertise as birth workers and fitness professionals.
Our goal is to help you feel confident as you navigate the perinatal timeframe for an empowering pregnancy, positive birth, and postpartum journey.
We are glad to have you with us on this journey and that you have chosen us to support you. Welcome to the MamasteFit podcast. Today, we are going to be sharing with you our tips for traveling with young kids. And so this is not necessarily a prenatal fitness, postpartum fitness, childbirth education related topic, but it is relating to motherhood and it is our podcast. So we can talk about whatever we want on it. And we want to share with you our tips for traveling with all your little munchkins. And so the first thing that we'll talk about is we'll talk about driving with a bunch of kids.
Driving with kids. So we cross-country road tripped with a 2-year-old from North Carolina to California.
And back.
And then back with another kid. We added a kid for the road trip back.
Picked up a souvenir in Monterey.
So we know the woes of traveling in a car with children. And it's a little bit more difficult, I think, than flying sometimes because they have to be in their car seat. You have to plan when you're going to stop, what rest stops are you going to stop at? You need to plan food, what are you going to eat while you're driving? Because you can't just stop at McDonald's for the entire
Yes, you
time.
can. You're already doing way more than I do with road trips.
No.
I don't plan my stops or food.
Well, not planning days in advance, but when you're driving, you're planning hey, we're going to need to stop.
Okay. I thought you were saying you have an itinerary of
but it's
we're
not
gonna
you're
stop
just
here.
Hey, the kids are hungry. We're going to stop at this random exit that's coming up for food. Whatever's there is what we're going to eat. No, because watch, it's going to be a place that your kids aren't going to eat at fucking Chili's. I don't know. But that's what's going to be
back ribs.
at that. That's the only place at that rest stop. So you have to plan hey, the kids have been in their car seat for about 2 hours. They're probably going to want to get out of their car seat. What are the upcoming food places? And yes, McDonald's might be a lot of your places, but I will say we stopped at McDonald's a lot on our drive from Monterey. And I could not eat McDonald's for 3 months. Probably, actually, I don't think I ate McDonald's until I had Joan. And it was a long time.
They forgot to give you your burger.
Oh, yeah. And then the first time I went to McDonald's, they gave me, I normally get my meal for McDonald's is their number, I think it's the number 10. It's 2 cheeseburgers with fries or whatever. It's whatever that meal is. It's a 2 cheeseburger meal. And then I got my kids chicken nuggets. This is the first time that I actually got a meal. Normally I just get my kids meals. And I was hungry, so I was yeah, 2 cheeseburgers. I ate one of them. And then I ate some fries and it was a little bit into the drive. I start eating the second one and I'm that tastes a little weird. I felt it's missing something. That's maybe that's just McDonald's now. I look down and it's just a piece of cheese between 2 buns. And I was I had to take a couple like glances because I'm one driving. So then I like my dad's at the seat next to me and I'm just like, I show him my hamburger and he's like, looks like they forgot something. No hamburger. We send a picture to Gina. She's like, can I have a cheeseburger? Hold the burger. So that teaches me to go to McDonald's. But yeah, it's like you can't go to McDonald's every time. You need to like switch it up. But also if it's like a long trip, like you can't
get a little burnt out.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree. You need to try to plan to get out of the car at least every 2 hours, maybe more frequently than that if you have a little baby who likes to eat. And I would not recommend, I've heard too many horror stories now from watching TikTok and like emergency doctors where people unbuckled to nurse their baby or unbuckled to get something and then they died.
Yeah.
Because there was a sudden car wreck. So now I'm terrified to unbuckle myself at any point.
I think they say like the dangle nursing or whatever, like that one, like you can like suffocate your baby because of like, if you get into accident one, you're also going to get injured, but like your baby, like because of your impact on your baby.
Yeah. So do not recommend while road tripping unbuckling to tend to your kids.
I brought a hand pump with a bottle. If your kids take bottles and you're breastfeeding, I have brought a hand pump in a bottle and I have fed in the car the bottle until we were able to stop. Because sometimes like if you're on a highway and the next nearest rest stop is 49 miles away, like so, especially if you're on those rural roads, like not rural, but like the highways that are like the exits are far apart. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to listen to my kid cry for 49 minutes.
Yeah.
But also it feels a little like it's a little sketchy to just pull over on the side of an interstate. So sometimes the pump with the bottle.
With that, it can be helpful to sit in the back with the kids if there's room, if you have enough room with all the car seats and yourself. And that was something that I did when I was road tripping with babies who needed to eat more often than I wanted to stop. Is I would hand pump and then I would put it in a bottle and I would feed them, but I would sit in the back seat with them so that I can kind of hand them toys and stuff. And so that's something that's been really helpful for me whenever we do long road trips from North Carolina to wherever, is to have an adult that sits in the back with the kids that can hand them toys, hand them their snacks, so that way you're not stopping every 10 minutes because they drop something.
Oh, because they're going to drop something.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of things to drop, I like to pack. Because we're driving, you can bring a lot of stuff with you. And if you have a designated, like, toy bitch in the back, this episode is explicit. It's easy for them to hand. So what I like to do is I take one of those cloth bins and I just fill it with small toys that the kids can play with. And so I'm usually got some sort of coloring book with like crayons or even just drawing pads with like different coloring utensils for them to do things with. They definitely got their iPads. We are a screen family.
Screen time is our time.
Screen time is happening. We did get iPads with data on them, which maybe is bougie because as soon as you drive away from your Wi-Fi home, the videos don't work anymore.
And they just sit there screaming.
So we did invest in getting some iPads with data. I think it's only like $20 a month for
plus
the
cost of the iPad.
But the amount that we drive, it's been really beneficial to have that. Or you can also just download videos to whatever tablets and stuff you use. But I will
Disney Plus and Netflix both have that capability to download. If you have like YouTube Premium, I think you can download it. I don't pay for YouTube Premium, so
I can invite you to my family plan.
Look at that.
I borrow your Netflix illegally, so
I know. You're going to come for us.
But I will say that the primary toy that my kids play with while we're traveling, both on the plane and driving, is the tablet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if there's one thing I'm going to bring, it's probably going to be the tablet. But the next thing is Play-Doh.
Oh, my gosh, Play-Doh. Play-Doh is the key for travel, regardless.
I like to buy little mini ones. I buy them in bulk, so they have like 100 packs that you can buy. And then
you got to get like the tools that they can play with the Play-Doh.
And I just bring a whole bunch of colors. I let them pick one or two at a time, and then it's just a joy. The other thing that I've been doing with the older kids, and this is more so when we're flying, even though we're talking about driving, we're going to skip ahead as a toy that I like to bring, is Legos. I like to buy like small kits, and then they just spend the whole time just putting it together. For the baby, I have the Duplos, really big Legos. I usually bring like 2 pieces, and she's like more than happy. I will say she's the hardest one to entertain out of the 3. But if I could only bring 2 things with me on any trip, iPad, Play-Doh.
Oh, 100%.
That's it. Third thing, coloring book. They love the coloring books. So you don't need to bring a ton on these trips, but having like a variety of things can be helpful, especially if it's a long road trip. And the beauty of driving is you can throw a whole bunch of stuff in there. So they have those like doodle pads that is like a black screen that you draw
and you
on.
just erase it.
Yeah.
We just got those for the kids.
Those
for
are pretty
Christmas.
nice. There are different like magnet games that you can get.
Magnet tiles.
They have magnet puzzles that you can get.
Lily got this magnet. It was not dolls, but like they're little like characters that
where
are
you
like,
dress them?
You dress them with magnets, but it came with a box. It came in a box that you can put all of the magnet clothes. That thing entertained her for like months until we like it just
You start losing the pieces.
the box like broke, so then all the pieces fell out somewhere.
The other thing that I like to do is I get a new toy. Something really exclusive. Secret.
Road trip exclusive.
But I do that for all the travel. And so they get like really excited to play with this one brand new toy. And it's usually like something that I got from like the Target dollar bin area. Like I got these like travel sensory bins, and I also got these travel Play-Doh bins, which are pretty cool. It came with like 2 or 3 mini Play-Dohs, a bunch of different tools, and it had a container to put everything in, which is really nice. The sensory bin was the same thing, except if you are flying with kinetic sand or sandy stuff,
oh yeah,
they will check it usually. I would say like 80% of the time my bag
has to be
gets
less
checked.
than 3 ounces.
I have always been able to go through. Maybe it's just my good looks or my sad
Probably
face.
because it's been less than 3 ounces.
It's been pretty big amounts, but they test it and they're like, this is fine. But so if you do travel with any sort of kinetic sand and you go through TSA, they will probably check
To make sure it's sand.
But I bought these portable sensory bins from Target, and the kids loved them. But the sand was awful. It was so
don't do the sand.
It was everywhere. It wasn't like kinetic sand where it was sticky. It was like literal sand. And so it was like all over our seat, all over the tray. It was awful. So if you're going to do a portable sensory bin, Play-Doh.
Play-Doh is the key for all travel. Honestly, it's the game changer for both cars, flying, trains probably. Not that we fly by train or travel by train.
We do not travel by train.
But it would be clutch on a train.
Great in a train too.
Yeah. So
let's talk about flying then. So driving, I think, is pretty straightforward. You got to stop every 2 hours or less to tend to your kids, give them some time outside the car seat.
yeah.
Maybe make sure when you order McDonald's, you ask for the burger.
Yeah, make sure they put the burger on your McDonald's. Or like Patrick and I, after the first 2 days of McDonald's, again, you can only eat so much McDonald's. We would stop at a grocery store in the morning, get like little deli sandwiches or even the adult Lunchables. I call them adult Lunchables because I can never remember. I think they're Hillshire.
I think they're called charcuterie boards.
Whatever. Sure, they're bougie adult charcuterie boards that you get at the grocery store. And we would get those and like some fruit and drinks, and we would put them in a cooler at the beginning of the day, and then we would stop. Instead of stopping at a restaurant or a rest stop, we would stop at those rest stops it's just like picnic area, so that the kids literally would just run in circles in the grassy area while eating like deli sandwiches that were like a little bit better than eating 14 meals of McDonald's. That we started to do that instead. But that does take some prior planning. I usually stayed in the car while he ran into the grocery store to grab all of these things. And then having like a nice cooler that's not going to the ice isn't going to melt instantaneously is key to pack in the car beforehand. But that one was kind of nice because we, like in Colorado, we stopped at this like super beautiful like restaurant that had the stream going through it, and like we played in the water. It was like really nice. And had I not packed lunch, we would have had to stop at another McDonald's. Sponsored by McDonald's.
So let's talk about flying now, because I think there's more planning involved.
Way more planning involved
with
in
flying. even though I think overall flying is easier entertainment wise for kids because you're not focusing on driving, you could just focus on the kids and their entertainment. So the first thing that I find with flying is figuring out what you are going to do with car seats.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're going to bring them with you, and if you are, do you have a bag for them to put underneath the plane? I would not recommend bringing them on the plane. That just seems like a lot with all of the other things that are going on.
Yeah, some people do bring them on the plane, though, if you have a seat for your kid. Like some car seats will fit on the airplane seats, and then your kid just sits in the car seat on the plane.
I have just never not had enough things in my arms getting on the plane.
Yeah, I don't know who carries that car seat onto the plane.
I can do that. And I've seen people do it, and I'm like, what? How are you doing this?
But I don't think it's feasible if you have more than one kid.
Yes. And not another adult there to help you.
Yeah.
So the first thing is figure out what you're going to do with your car seat. And what we have started doing, because lugging around 3 car seats is painful, especially when you get to your destination.
Oh my God, it's so painful.
It's so hard to grab all your bags. Then also these 3 really giant and bulky car seats is we either book shuttles that take us to where we need to go. So like for Disney, we booked a bus that's going to pick us up with a bunch of other people. I didn't book a private bus and take us to Disney, private bus, so that we don't have to bring the car seats because we're on a bus. The other thing that we do is
do they need a car seat on a bus?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing some illegal shit.
And coming for Gina for the Netflix and the bus.
No, I don't think you need it on like shuttles and stuff. The other thing that we'll do is if we're renting a car, we also rent car seats.
Oh yeah, that would be.
So that way we don't
have to make sure that one, your rental car has the correct car seats, the correct type of car seats. Because I have heard people will go after they rent a car seat and they had infant car seats. And her kids were like 4. Okay. They don't fit in an infant car seat.
So you're ruining my plan. It has not been an issue for us thus far.
But sometimes calling ahead.
Yeah. So my husband does usually call to confirm that they have the appropriate car seats for us. But if they didn't have like the infant one, it would be easy to bring the baby's car seat. It would be easy to bring one.
They didn't have the big ones. They only had infants.
Okay, well, we have not had an issue with that. So for us, what we do now is we either book some sort of public transportation that we don't have to do car seats, and then while we're at our destination, we just don't drive.
And go nowhere.
Or we rent car seats instead of having to drag them with us, which has been really nice to lighten our load travel-wise.
Yes. I just struggle with all of my car seats because we have not thought of renting it because I'm just nervous that the car seat is not safe. So we lug them, but we get the car seat carriers that have either wheels on them. Some of them like will have wheels like built into it. So you literally just wheel it around, or it's like the backpacks and it has like cushioning. They're like more of a structured carrier. Our other hack is if you're visiting family is you just buy a car seat that stays at their house.
Ooh,
and
yeah,
then
that's
when
good.
you go to visit, then they come pick you up at the airport with that said car seat.
Which is what you did whenever
use.
you visited us when you lived in California.
I never had to bring car seats with me when I visited North Carolina because one, Gina just owns like 49 car seats. And I think the first time I came, I just left them here. I did not lug car seats for 2 children by myself. Do you remember?
So Roxanne and I went to Seattle. It was just her and I and our plethora of small children. And we brought our own car seats with us.
We only had 4 kids at the time. But
yes.
Yeah, we brought those 4 car seats.
We had to carry 4 car seats. And the Seattle rental car, their C-Tax rental car space is not where the airport is. So you have to take like Ubers or something. There's something going on where we had to shuttle.
I think I messed up on the reservation.
But we had to drag 4 car seats
into an Uber.
Plus all our bags and our 2 strollers through C-Tac to try to figure out where the Ubers were. And it was not an easy journey.
And then they were closed. They were actually closed. So we had to Uber to our Airbnb. And then in the morning, I had to then Uber to the rental car when they opened in the morning and then drive back. And then Gina had an earlier flight when we left, so she didn't have to lug her car seats back into an Uber. I dropped her off at the airport because my flight, I think, was the next day. But then I had to drop the rental car off at the rental place, then Uber from the rental place with my 2 car seats and my 2 children, and then
all your stuff.
load it into the rental car and then go to the airport and all my stuff. Yeah. The first car that I always chuckle because there's a lot of Teslas in Seattle. And the first Uber car that picked my thing up was a Tesla. And I think he saw me down the street with my 2 car seats and my 2 children, and he canceled. And then someone else picked it up. And they came and they're like, I don't think all of this is going to fit in my Toyota Camry. And I was like, hey, I put all of this shit into a Corolla. This gonna be fine. Just give me a second. As this, like, people are like staring as I'm like sweating. It's June in Seattle, sweating, putting these like car seats into this Uber. But I did it.
So car seats.
Don't recommend.
Figure out what you want to do with that. Lots of options. I currently just rent them and rent a bus instead.
If I were to travel by myself, I would rent them from now on.
The next thing is in-airport transportation.
Oh, yeah.
Strollers.
You need a stroller.
So we used to travel, and we still will travel with our upper baby stroller. Very modular. Lots of seats. I can restrain children,
which is
in
key
various
to making
seats,
flights.
which is very important. And the first few times that we traveled with it, we just checked it. Like, because your car seats you can check for free, and your stroller you can also check for free, and you can gate check it. So you can bring it through security and bring it all the way to the gate. At the gate, you also want a bag to protect your stroller. And this was a mistake that we made. We did not have a bag to protect our upper baby. And on our way back from a trip, thankfully it was the way back, they busted our wheel. It was destroyed. And so then I sold it to Roxanne and bought a new stroller.
I just bought a wheel.
And so with this broken wheel, we then invested in a really nice upper baby stroller bag. And it was super heavy duty. I really like it a lot. Our stroller is very protected now. So if you are going to travel with the stroller and you're going to gate check it, make sure you have a heavy duty protective bag, because they are not like gently placing your very expensive stroller in the bottom of the car. But for when I'm going to places like Disney and I need seats for all my kids, because I am going to get all the magic out of that place, whether you are awake or not, I need my upper baby. But like when we went to Korea and right when we went to Columbus, we've been traveling with our Bugaboo stroller, which is just a fancy umbrella stroller. All 3 of my kids could fit in it if they all need to. But it's really just for the baby. And she's really the only one that needs to be in a car, like be in a stroller. And what's really nice is it fits in the overhead bin, so I don't have to check it. And that's my preference now for strollers. If I'm going to be traveling on a plane and I'm not going to Disney, is to bring one that I can put in the overhead bin, because I know it's not going to get broken and messed up before I get to my destination.
We had the baby jogger. They have a really small one. I can't remember the name of it, but it like folds up and it comes with a little bag that you can put it in and then carry the bag on. And then you can put that either under your front seat or overhead. And that's what we had with Lily whenever we would travel. And we can definitely probably put her and Colin in there if they needed to sit on it, or with Joan. I don't know if I would put Joan in there right now with the other 2 kids, but it lays flat and it still has like an undercarriage storage, so you can shove some more stuff under there. And so light, so much easier to travel in than the huge ass strollers we have right now. But having some sort of stroller and a baby carrier.
Yes.
Having some way to restrain your children from running away that causes you to miss your connection is key. There are so many times that Lily, when me and Colin and Lily would travel from California to North Carolina, that they would take so long getting off of the plane that we would almost miss our connection flight. Because for some reason, I would book not very long connections. And if I did not have a stroller to throw her in and give her a snack to entertain her while I literally ran across these airports, I would have missed so many flights. So many flights would have been missed, and just tear when you miss your flight. So having a stroller and a baby carrier, a way to bring your children from point A to point B when they do not want to follow you, is key.
So I find the baby carriers are really nice to get on and off of flights. And then when you're on the flight, for when you have the little ones to nap,
Yes,
especially
that's true.
if they're lap infants. I love traveling with the Secure Bloom carrier, their scout carrier. It's an apron style carrier. It's very lightweight, or it's really comfortable. The only problem is it has metal on the buckle, and so if you try to wear it through TSA, you have to take it off. Because they'll always tell me, you don't have to take off your carrier, you can just go through it. I'm like, it has metal, so I have to take it off because as soon as I walk through,
I've always had to take them off.
Yeah, so almost every time that I start taking off, someone always tells me to not, that I don't have to. But the one does have metal in it, so you can't go through security with wearing it, so you have to take it off. But other than that, it's so lightweight, it fits really easily into my bag when I'm not wearing it. So I like to wear the baby onto the plane, so I have my arms free to wrangle my other kids and hold on my stuff. And then if she takes a nap, I like to put her in it. That way I still have free hands to play on my phone and wrangle my other kids. And then getting off the plane, it just frees up my hands by putting her in there.
You can't wear them in the carrier when you take off or land. Someone has always told me like, oh, hey, you have to like take the carrier off during takeoff and landing. But otherwise, you can keep them in the carrier pretty much the whole flight. And it also like frees your arms when you're on the flight to wrangle your other children or get them their Play-Doh or give them a snack. And like your arms don't fall asleep from just fatigue of holding your lap infant.
So what are you packing in your carry-on bag? I don't really care what you pack in your check bag because whatever, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I will say we have lost a lot of luggage along the ways of our travels pre-children and one time with children. So we always pack one extra change of clothes for everybody in our checked bag. Our checked bag is not small. It is a big check. Our carry-on bag is not small. It is the Osprey has those bags that you can add straps to it or take the straps off. So we have an Osprey, like the biggest carry-on you can have is the size Osprey bag that we have. We put a change of clothes in like the little packing cubes with like toothbrushes just in case, because so many times I've had to buy so many travel toothbrushes, so many. It's excessive how many that I've had to buy. So we pack that with a change of clothes and extra diapers because our kids are potty trained, but they sleep with a diaper. Not having a diaper for your children to sleep in at the end of the day was like, what the fuck do I do? Another thing that I like to pack in my carry-on for traveling purposes, because one, again, I don't trust that my checked bag's ever going to get there. I've lost it a lot of times, is Needed has travel size of all of their stuff, pretty much everything. That's a powder at least. Like they don't obviously have travel size capsules, but they have
the
travel
capsules
size.
are travel size. You can just bring the capsules.
Size, yeah. But Needed has sample packs where you can get a 5-day supply of their prenatal or collagen and their immune support. And you can pack that in your carry-on. So I usually will get however long my trip is. I have these packets just at my house ready to go whenever I need them. So I'll pack however long the trip is. So if it's 4 days, I put 4 of the prenatals, 4 of the collagens, and 4 immune supports because traveling is the time that my kids always get sick. So I need the immune support to support our immune systems so we don't spend 5 days on the back end of our trip recovering from a sickness. So they have the samples available on their site that you can get a 5-day supply. So if your trip is 10 days, you need 2 of them. And they're 1-day supplies that you just put in your carry-on bag, super easy to be able to pack and still be able to stick with your supplement routine of the prenatal vitamins, the collagen, and an immune support in there as well that I really love.
The other thing that I like to do is I like those little travel containers for pills because I don't like the powdered prenatal because I feel like I have to have a smoothie or something with it and I just don't carry a blender with me. But the collagen I like to throw in my coffee, and so that's something that I'll bring with me. But I'll get those like week-long pill organizers and I'll put all my pills in there. So I'll have my prenatal vitamins, I have my CoQ10, my egg support, all the stuff that I'm taking to support my own fertility as we prepare to conceive. And I'll just pack it in there and then throw it in my carry-on. Because again, I have less trust issues, I think, than you do with losing my bags, but I still like to throw stuff in my carry-on just in case, because I want to make sure that I have all the supplements that I want. And so if you are interested in checking out Needed, you can use code MamastePod to get 20% off your first order or first 3 months of subscription. It's a brand that Roxanne and I both have used during our pregnancies, postpartum, and beyond. We love the brand so much. It's super high quality products, third-party tested, and they do so much research, and there's just so much put into the development of all their products that I know is the highest quality that you can get. And so if you want to check them out, know that we only promote brands that we personally use and love, and Needed is definitely one of them.
And then we pack something to entertain myself that I wishfully have. Like, I always wishfully pack like a book or like the iPad for myself to like do something on the plane for myself. Never use it, but I still pack it just in case. And then I pack all of the kids' stuff. So I pack snacks that they love. So whatever, like Pirates Booty, bars, whatever they want, like normally are into at that time. I'll pack some snacks because like the airports don't always have the snacks they want, but we will usually also pick out a snack at the airport that they will eat on the plane. And then I pack all of the things that are going to entertain my children. That is 75% of this bag is just Play-Doh. Obviously, iPads, Legos, coloring books, anything that I can think of. We also have used the window stickers that you put, like every holiday has like the different window stickers that you can put because they stick to the airport windows. Not the airport windows. Well, the airport windows, but the airplane windows. So it's like something that they can play with as they put that on the windows. It's like window decals, entertains them for a while. But honestly, the thing that entertains my kids the most, which is hilarious, is Play-Doh with, if the airplane has the TV on it, just playing, not listening to it with headphones. Because we pack headphones for the children, because we don't want like their, music playing just in the middle of the airplane. We pack the headphones. They just watch it in silence. Like they don't know what is being said on the video that they're watching or on the movie that they're watching overhead. They're just playing with their Play-Doh, staring up at it every once in a while. And it entertains them the whole flight. 90% of the time, they will fall asleep though.
Yeah, lots of sleeping.
Especially right before you land.
That's their favorite time to fall asleep.
If they could have stayed up the entire flight, they will fall asleep 10 minutes before you land. And then you have to figure out how the heck you're going to get off of this airplane with 2 sleeping children and all of your bags.
So I have 2 carriers that I bring with me. They're both Secure Bloom. One's like the Omni Buno, or I don't know how to pronounce it. I can never spell it. It's a waistless carrier. And then I have the Scout carrier, which has a waistband. And so I'll throw Owen on my back in the weightless carrier. Waistless carrier.
It's not weightless.
It's not weightless. It's very heavy when he's in it. And then I'll put Sophie on the front, and then Adeline just sleepily walks behind me.
Where's your bag?
I'm just dragging it with me.
That's the trouble that I have, is that I will put Lily on my back and then call into the front of my heavy ass carry-on bag.
I'm just dragging it with my stroller.
Someone usually on the airplane, honestly, will be like, "Do you need some help?"
Absolutely,
and I say, "Man, I don't want to inconvenience you." And they're like, "Let me take your bag." And I say, "Thank you so very much," as I carry my ginormous carry-on bag.
So the main things that I pack in my carry-on bag is I do pack a change of clothes for everybody, not because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my bags, but because I don't like to get vomited on.
Oh, that's true.
And then sit in my children's liquid. My kids sometimes spill stuff on themselves, or if they have an accident, I like to have an extra outfit for them. So I have outfits for everybody just in case something happens to their clothing. I'm also going to pack, like, obviously diapers and stuff, any sort of things that I need for the baby on the flight. Some snacks, we tend to just buy a snack in the airport. Like, they'll just pick like 1 or 2 snacks and then a drink. So I don't normally carry snacks with me. And then all their entertainment, which is essentially my whole bag. I don't even bring anything for myself anymore because I just know. I downloaded like an app, like a game on my phone that I'll occasionally get to play. But usually my entire flight is focused on keeping them entertained and giving them things that I show up at our destination exhausted.
Oh, yeah. I bought the AirPod Pros because Pat, my husband, he had them and he's like, oh, they're really nice on the airplane. You can like watch your movies and it's quiet and like they're noise canceling. So I was like, sure, that sounds great. Let me buy the AirPod Pros. I've put them in every flight and nothing plays in them because I'm so busy. I have played an Audible book like multiple times. I've had to re-listen to the whole book because it's just playing in the background, but I'm not actually listening to it. I'm like, please don't run to the bathroom.
I recently got into I think it's spelled like Akotar. It's like the Crown of Thorns and Roses series, but she has other books because I finished that one, and so I tried to download her other one to listen to on the flight to Korea. I listened to none of it.
Is this like the Fifth Wing or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I just put those on my Audible. We're gonna join a book club.
We're really excited for it,
but I need to read it first
or listen to the books. I don't read books anymore. I just listen to books. But yeah, I did download that for our trip to Korea. I did not listen to them at all. The entire flight was just tending to the kids. But speaking of really long flights, the inflatable beds for them was clutch.
There's really a ton of different brands. Like we have the flyaway beds, but they have them all on Amazon. Same thing. It takes like 5 minutes to inflate the beds.
Not even.
Well, probably 5 minutes to inflate the beds and place it in because like the kid is sitting in the seat. You have to like move them out of the way, put them in there, but like they will, I don't know how they do it, but they'll fall asleep on that thing peacefully.
Just curled up in a little ball. Yeah, those have been like really helpful for long flights. I don't bring them on anything that's like less than 5 hours because you just sleep in your seat. But for like when we flew to Korea and it was a 12-hour flight, as soon as we were up in there, I was blowing that thing up. And then the three of them were just kind of like
sleep. Yeah, we did it. I think it's for any flights longer than 3 hours I've done it because we did it when we went to Hawaii and then there was another place that we blew it up and it was clutch.
Yeah, they just take up a lot of space.
They do take up a lot of space, but for those flights, we would normally buy the snacks in the airport and they give you a bag in the airport. And a little tip, you may only be allowed one carry-on and one personal item, but if you buy stuff in the airport, they usually let you take that bag on. So then I had secret 3 bags because my purse counts as a bag.
Your children can also have a carry-on.
One day our children will actually carry the carry-on though. It's mostly 3 bags is my limit to carry.
So speaking of children on planes, how dare you travel with children? But I tend to, like, I've seen a bunch of reels lately where somebody is commenting on somebody's kid being like really loud on the plane and how it's so disruptive. And like half the people are like, why would I not travel with my children? Like they're a part of society. And then you have the other half people that are like, just stay home, like until you can control your kids, don't bring them out in public. And I think the thing that helps me the most is one, most adults can't even regulate their own emotions. So like, why am I going to expect my 3-year-old to like always be in control of his emotions? Like that's not fair. The next thing is that they are allowed to exist in society and in space. And just because they obviously if they start crying, I'm going to do something to try to help soothe them. Because one, I don't want to disturb other people on the plane, but also like they are allowed to exist in the space. And so it's not just like, oh, don't worry, just he's a baby, he just cries. Like I'm doing stuff to help soothe him, but like I would initially find myself like really more anxious about the fact that we were disrupting other people as opposed to being like, oh my God, my baby's really sad. And that was like, wait, that doesn't sit well with me. Like, yes, I don't want to like have him scream or her scream the entire flight because that would not be an enjoyable flight for anybody.
Yeah.
To include myself, I would be super stressed out. But instead of being like overly fixated on how is this other adult's experience being affected by my kid just existing is like a slightly less of a concern for me. I'm more concerned about making sure that my kid is like okay, but also like stop crying, please.
Yes. I think it's also like you paid to be here too. Like everyone bought their plane ticket as well as we bought our plane ticket. It was not given to us for free. So if my kid is making noise on this flight, I'm sorry, but I paid to be here as well. So they have a right to make noise if they want to.
Yeah, but maybe don't scream. Just please stop screaming. So yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing when I first started traveling with Adeline when she was a little baby, was being super concerned that she was going to be disruptive to other people, when really like they cry for maybe like a few minutes here and there because they're upset about something, their ears hurt, like
Lily
something
cries.
is going on, and then they're fine. It's not like they're crying the entire flight.
It's just the descent, I think, is the worst for their ears.
Yeah.
Because they just don't understand. Like, how would you feel if all of a sudden you felt this weird sensation in your body and you can't explain what's happening? Like, and if people are trying to tell you what's happening, but like, again, you don't know what it is. You would probably be upset about it.
There is some stuff that you can do to help with the takeoff and landing. If your baby is nursing, you can breastfeed on takeoff and the initial descent, not the landing. I mean, you can breastfeed on the landing part, but it's when the plane begins to drop.
That's when
is when you want to start breastfeeding. If your kids are beyond that, drinking something. If they're a little bit older, chewing gum, or you can teach them to like plug their nose and blow their ears if they're a little bit older.
We've done the drinking with Lily, and then we brought like gummy bears, and she doesn't, the drinking, she goes, it didn't do anything. It's not working. So we've tried the gummy bears and that helps a little bit more, but we've just gotten to the point where it's 5 minutes. She cries and then she usually falls asleep. One of the things with flying that I learned after many mishaps of spilled apple juice all over the seats, closed lid cups, whether you get like actual, like I think Contigo has those leak-proof cups that have a straw that you can just pour the apple juice that the flight attendant gives you in the middle of the flight, or we would just buy those like character ones that you can get like in the airport. It's like the little character lid. Those ones are like leak-proof, and then you just fill it up with the apple juice that you get from, again, the flight attendant, because so many times my kids drink out of open cups. Like at home, they drink out of open cups. Like we don't have tons of lids everywhere, and they're able to drink out of open cups. But on an airplane that is moving in a really small tray, they just always hit it perfectly. And it's all over their seat. And then, I do have to take out our emergency outfit and change them on it. And then my pants are also wet because it got on my seat.
Yeah.
So we have learned after many mishaps of apple juice covered clothing that having closed cups, whether you bought it in the airport because your carry-on bag is stuffed with a bunch of other stuff like me, or you put it in your carry-on bag and that's what you use on the airplane, and then at your destination, wherever you're going. So get it to save your clothing and save your sanity.
And so if you're wanting a list of things to buy for helpful items to have while you road trip or while you fly, we do have an Amazon list that lists all the things that we personally use on our trips or things that are really similar to what we use on our trips to help entertain our kids. The top thing is going to be the Play-Doh. It's really just, if you only just bought Play-Doh, it would.
When we went to Disney this last time, we were delayed for like 12 hours at the airport. They just kept delaying and delaying. My kids, the only thing that entertained them that entire time? They didn't play with their iPads for more than 5 minutes. They didn't color. They didn't do any of the other toys that I brought them, like their like Paw Patrol toys, Spider-Man toys. 5 minutes max. What entertained them for that full 12 hours? Play-Doh. We did get Play-Doh all over that airport carpet. So sorry, RTU. Apologies.
Maybe don't cancel my flight.
Yeah, maybe just, have my flight on time. They were entertained and happy for that full 12 hours, except when they got hungry and they wanted food. And then we just went and got food.
So do you think it's worth traveling with kids?
Oh, yes. It will be stressful during the travel portion, whether by car or by plane. I don't think there's a way to not make it stressful. I think
Just
it's
be less stressed.
I think just as people, we are just stressed during that time period regardless. My kids could be perfect angels, like perfect, like no one's perfect, but like they could be the perfect angels. Listen to me when I tell them to like do everything and have zero opinions or thoughts. And it would still be stressful, I think.
I was joking when we were in Korea that the person that was hard to travel with was me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to contain these kids. We need to get from here to here, directing us, grabbing our bags. And so I'm like very focused on like completing the task. And Owen's like, I want to dance. And I'm like, get over here. And then after about the third day, I'm like, I think the person that's hard to travel with is me. I'm the hard person.
Didn't Adeline
to travel
say
with.
yes?
She's like, you seem like you're frustrated. Thank you. Thank you. But I think the one thing that folks will say is like, why travel? Like they're not even going to remember anything. And I'm like, well,
I will.
I remember. Also, my kids remember a lot more than I thought they would.
Honestly, they do have pretty great memory.
Like they remember stuff from like trips that we've done. And granted, yeah, Adeline might not remember her very first trip to Disney, but you know who remembers? Me. And it was awesome.
But I think there's a reel where it's like, it's about taking your kids to Disney, but it could apply to literally anything you do in life with your kids before like the age of 2. Like, oh, well, why do you take your kids to Disney before 2? They're not going to remember it. Like, oh, should I just not do anything with my children until they can remember things? Like, oh, did you remember yesterday? No? Okay, well, we can't do anything today.
Get back in the closet.
Get back in the closet. Well, we'll take you places when you can remember it. But like, also, I remember it, and that's also important. Like, my memories that I form with my children is just as important as the memories they form, if not more.
Yeah. I think it's worth traveling, even with the stress of traveling. And I do find like the more that you do it, the better the kids get at it. And it just becomes like something that they're accustomed to and they kind of know the protocol for things. And so it makes it a lot easier. Not that I'm any less stressed, but it makes it easier because they know this is what happens when we're on a plane. This is what happens when we're going from here to here. And so they become better little travelers because of the experience that they're having with
Lily
traveling.
Like she has her own suitcase now and she's so excited about like our next flight to be able to use her own suitcase.
You know what's really exciting about those little suitcases is running through the airport and their bag is like with them.
It's not a carry-on.
I'm like,
it is a checked bag.
Get your bag.
It is a checked bag. Do not have your children have their own carry-on bag because it becomes your carry-on bag.
Oh my God. And their handles are too low for you to like drag. Oh my goodness. So for those of you that are taking some journeys for the holidays, either for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, or really you're just going on a random vacation at any time, know that the travel part will probably be the most stressful. And then whenever you get to your destination, you will probably be tired from the travel part. And so just take your time when you're on your trip. Usually what I say is whenever we're on trips is we just kind of do whatever. Like we don't have like crazy.
Except Disney.
Disney we are up and we are moving all day. These dudes are going to be just sleeping in that stroller as I get all the magic in. But in other places, it's kind of like we pick like one thing to do per day and then the rest, and we just kind of go at whatever flow we need. And so trying to like decrease the expectations at your location when you're vacationing can be really helpful. Decrease your expectations with the travel part can be really helpful. And then know that you and your kids are allowed to take up space and your children are allowed to be heard and seen, and that a little bit of crying here and there is not going to destroy somebody else's entire vacation. If it does, they probably got some other things they need to be working through. It's probably not just your kid that's making them upset. Obviously, like, do something, try to help them, soothe them. Like, don't just let them scream, cry for whatever reason. But yeah, it's worth traveling with them. It's cool to experience new things with them. It's cool to share stories and stuff with them. You don't have to take some like extravagant vacation to make good memories. It can be as simple as we've done staycations where we've just went to a town nearby, grabbed an Airbnb and just did an escape room, and it was super fun. So.
Even just like going to visit friends or family, like not necessarily going and doing like Disney grand trips every time. Like we have gone and visited like my friend when after she had her baby, and we just stayed at her house, and like literally we would just go out of the house. We went to Target one day, and then the next day was like a playground. That was so much fun for them though. They had a blast either just hanging out at your friend or family's house. Like when we go to visit my husband's family, like we don't usually do anything crazy. We're mostly just hanging out with family, and that's enough. Like they will have fun regardless of what you do. I think as maybe they get older, you need to have more entertaining things potentially. I don't really know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
When we get there.
But right now, like they just going to someone else's house is so much fun. Even just going to Gina's house. She lives 5 minutes from me.
I know.
They come home and they're exhausted.
It's a blast.
It's great.
It's
for
a blast.
Me. Not great for Gina.
I will say though, our kids do not have a routine. They don't have like set nap times because we live in chaos. So it makes it easy to travel because there's no routine that they're like adhered to.
Yeah.
So they just kind of adapt to whatever's going on. So if your kids do have like a big structure to their day, you might even do a lot of prep to like work them up to things to know like that they need to change. But that's something for you to kind of figure out with your family dynamics. For us, we live in chaos at all times, and so traveling just adds to that chaos. And
I will say if your kid does require like nap time in like a dark room with like white noise, there are tons of like white noise machines that are portable. Like some, I mean, baby Frida has one, or Frida baby, I don't know, whichever order it is. We got like a $10 one off Amazon, and then there's so many travel blackout curtains where they like legitimately black out. Like Sleep Out, I think, sent us one time that actually legitimately worked, that we used when we lived without curtains in our house for a while. But like there are ways that you can replicate their like sleeping environment when you do travel to other places. I mean, every hotel, it's like blackout curtains galore. I don't know where hotels get their blackout curtains. I need those blackout curtains in my own home.
Hilton, call us.
Yes.
Tell us.
How do you get zero light in your bedrooms or hotel rooms? I need that for just my own sleep. But like if you're staying at like family's houses, like getting like portable blackout curtains that you can like bring places that don't take up a ton of room in a portable sound machine that's like really small, like throwing those in your like checked bags is super easy to kind of make it a little bit easier to kind of get back into that routine once you get to your location. The travel, there's nothing, I have 0 tips for that. Some airplanes though do have like a bassinet option if you have a baby. You have to, it's like, I don't know which airlines have it, but they have like, you can sit in a seat that has like a pull-out bassinet.
Oh, that's pretty fancy.
So just to recap, when traveling with kids, whether driving or flying, Play-Doh is the answer.
That's it. That's all you need is just to bring Play-Doh, a little roller thingy, some cutout shapes with it. That's literally all you need to travel, and that will entertain your child
for 12 hours.
If they're at least like 18 months or older. Sophie, much harder to entertain. Babies are a little bit tougher. They are not as easily entertained as older siblings. So for me, it's a lot of nursing, a lot of watching videos on my phone, which is why I don't get to listen to my Audible, and a lot of napping.
Letting
Sophie
them crawl all over you as well.
And crawl all over me. Hand her off to somebody else. A stranger, please hold my baby for me. Yeah, I will say the babies she's what makes the trips hard for me right now. But
once they start being mobile, I think it's like around like 8 months is when it gets super, super hard.
Because they don't want to just sit there and sleep.
But before that, they just lay there.
It's really nice. That's really nice. So enjoy it while you can. And then you might have to pause with your ability to enjoy your flight for about a year until they
can enjoy
themselves. Sitting down and watching iPads and playing with Play-Doh without eating it. That's
true.
What Sophie's doing now. She's eating the Play-Doh.
I don't recommend slime on the plane.
Oh, no slime. Absolutely not slime. But I will say putty is fun. It's like kind of like Play-Doh, but it doesn't dry up.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, like the thinking putty. That has been popular.
I'll have to try that on my next flight.
Yeah, but Play-Doh, it's so much easier. It's smaller. You just throw out the container. So yeah, if you take anything from this episode,
Play-Doh.
driving, flying, train,
We should have had
biking,
this episode
Play-Doh.
sponsored by Play-Doh.
This episode can be sponsored by Play-Doh.
Play-Doh, send us Play-Doh.
Call us. Give us a phone
open
number
to a collab.
So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel, to follow our podcast. We release new episodes every Wednesday, new birth stories every Friday. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure that you leave a review, you comment, you do all of the things to let us know how much you love it. Share with everyone you know. Literally anybody you see, tell them about the MamasteFit podcast. We provide tons of free content with this podcast, our blog, our Instagram page, even our YouTube channel. So if you want more information, check out our YouTube page. We're posting tons of videos over there as well. If you want to learn more from us, check out our prenatal fitness programs. We offer them online. If you're local to us, come work out with us in person. We also have our childbirth education course, postpartum fitness program. And if you're a professional, you can learn with us professionally and earn CEUs. So we have our birth worker course and fitness trainer course. And again, remember, Black Friday is coming up. If you want a bigger discount
Sign up for
and
the
make
newsletter.
things pretty much free, sign up for our newsletter so you get notified of the bigger discount code. All of our bundles are 15% off. And so then if you add on that discount code, it's pretty much free. So
Girl math, mom
just
math.
girl math, do all the things.
This podcast is sponsored by Needed, a nutrition company that's focused on the perinatal time frame. And we both love all of their supplements. We have taken it both during our pregnancies and postpartums. I still take it now, and we cannot rave about them enough. If you want to try out Needed, use our code MamastePod for 20% off your first order or the first 3 months of your subscription. And you can check them out at thisisneeded.com.